Hi, I'm Chelsea Hewsome, your host of the Lip Service and Lashes podcast. I'm an entrepreneur, author, speaker, and mom of two. And I'm so tired of women not feeling like they can show up as fully expressed versions of themselves. So here, we're all about that unapologetically, because honestly, we don't have time not to. Literally, because we're busy as F moms and entrepreneurs, but also figuratively, because we don't know how much time we have on this planet, and we want to make an impact now. But if we're doing this, we're making it real vibes only. So let's get inspired, laugh our asses off, quite possibly cry, and feel like you're sitting on the couch with your bestie and a glass of wine. I'm so happy you're here. Let's dive in. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Lip Service and Lashes podcast. I'm your host, Chelsea Hewsome. You guys, today I have a guest, Jamie Estelle Roth. In her 50s, Jamie's calling came into focus at the same time she and her family noticed distressing signs of her losing her vision. So began her deep spiritual awakening. Now, Jamie shares her message of hope across the world and guides others to find their purpose in times of tragedy. Her debut book, Should Have Seen That Coming, details her transformational journey and her chosen path of acceptance, surrender, and resilience in the face of adversity. She's also a podcaster and motivational speaker, which I love. She's based in California, and Jamie's a proud mom to three, married to her loving husband, Stuart, enjoying life with their rambunctious pup, Coda. Jamie, welcome.
Thank you, Chelsea. I'm so happy to be here.
Yes, I'm so glad to have you. Thank you so much.
Yay.
Okay, well, let's just jump right in, and we're just going to take this wherever it goes.
Okay.
But I want to talk first. When you were noticing signs of losing your vision, what was the first emotional response that you remember? And then kind of how maybe did that evolve over time?
Well, my first reaction to seeing the spot in my left eye was, oh shit. Is it okay if I cuss, by the way?
Please do. Yes, I think every
Okay,
episode
yay.
is explicit. Yes, please do it.
Fantastic. So yeah, it was an oh shit, this isn't good. I need to get this looked at. But I also thought, it's probably just a rogue contact. Like maybe I forgot to
Yeah.
take my contacts out and
Yep.
that's what it is. I didn't think it was major like it turned out to be, but I also knew something was amiss
Yeah.
and needed to get in to see somebody that day. So that was
Okay.
it.
Yeah, I wear contacts. I get that thinking like, oh, it's just something like weird. It might not be a huge thing. So
Yeah.
then so you go to the eye doctor and what did they tell you?
So I went to an ophthalmologist who I'd never met before. It was a referral from my optometrist.
Okay.
And he was not super warm and fuzzy, very clinical, which was fine,
Mm.
whatever. And I seriously thought he was going to be like, girl, for reals, you suck at wearing your contact lenses. And you now have like a bruise on your eyeball from your contact lens or something. And instead, he checked my eyes with the little, the thing that they use that looks the light in your eye,
Yes.
which I
I have
think,
a lot of eye issues. I'm well aware of that.
yeah, right. You're very well versed in all that.
Mhm.
But I don't know about you, but I feel like it looks into your soul. It's all, hey.
Kind
So
of.
anyway, he used that and then sat back in his seat and said, okay, you're gonna have to clear your schedule for the next couple days because we don't know what's going on. It could be a lot of things. And I was like, well, what do you mean? It could be a lot of things. Like it's not a
Yeah.
contact. He's like, no. And he
Hmm.
said, I go, what could it be? He said, well, it could be a brain tumor, cancer, MS, optic neuritis, or this thing called non-arterial ischemic optic neuropathy, which to me, everything he said sounded like Charlie Brown's teacher. Wah,
Pretty
wah, wah,
much.
wah, wah, wah. Yeah. And
Yeah.
so I then left there kind of, he's like, we'll get an MRI and see what's going on. And I was like, okay. And I left there out of my body. It was kind of
Oh,
crazy.
yeah.
But it was, yeah. And then just tried to wrap my brain around what he just said, which took me a minute or two. So, and then didn't get the MRI until a week later. So the whole time I'm thinking, holy shit, I have cancer or have MS or I have a brain tumor. I didn't even think about the other two. And uh, then when I got the MRI back a week later, it took another at least a week for him to call me into his office. And I found out through some a doctor friend of mine that it was just optic nerve inflammation.
Really?
So that was it. And they were like, we don't know why this is happening, but it is. So we got to figure out how to fix you. And there, my
Interesting.
story evolved even more.
Well, yeah, I like what you said. You're sitting there and he's just listed off like 10 of the worst potential life altering, horrible things. It's like,
Right.
yeah, driving home, I feel like you'd be a little numb, a little like, huh, well, that's
Uh-huh.
not what I wanted to hear today, right? Yeah.
Absolutely. I know. And my go-to, and I'm sure this is for some people, it's to like um almost like a detach from my own reality and make a joke about it,
Yeah.
because that's how I am able to kind of um really come to terms with everything, but I don't really come to terms with it because I'm pretending like it's all funny. And
Yeah.
so that's what I did. I had to like crack jokes about all I'm like, great, my head's gonna explode or
Yeah, all the
whatever.
potential things you might
Yeah.
have. Yeah.
Yeah.
I get that because it's when it's something potentially really, really heavy, right? I mean, it is like sometimes we don't want to go into and wallow and like go so deep in that because you're like, well, that's gonna be a couple weeks in bed that I never come out of. Right. Like just
Right.
laying there crying, like, what?
Yes. And I also realize too now, I mean, having it be 4.5 years later and all the work I've done and just all of the things that have happened, I now know that I was instinctively or unconsciously not giving what he said energy. I
Yeah.
didn't want to look at it that way. So let's just not look at it,
Yep.
you know?
That's very true. Yeah, you're like, okay, well, it could be anything in the world
Mhm.
potentially, but like I'm not going to immediately jump and like validate that, right?
Nope.
That's true.
Nope.
That's true.
Yeah. That doctor
Well,
doesn't know what he's talking about. He's
yeah,
crazy.
he's crazy.
He's
Okay.
crazy.
So in the 4.5 years, so walk me through kind of
Mm.
what have you gone through since then and kind of and right now, do you have any eyesight? Do you have limited? Kind of talk us through that.
Okay. So, since that visit with that ophthalmologist, and I write about it in the book, there's like a chronological breakdown of what happened. The first thing is there was no urgency in my mind. There was no urgency because from April 12th of 21, when the spot showed up, to probably mm, mid-May of the same year, I had the spot grew to basically my entire eye was filled with darkness.
Really?
Um, the right eye was still fine. I had two flare-ups of diverticulitis during that time. One, I believe that it was from the COVID vaccine because I had it a week before, or I had it a week after I got the vaccine. But I want to say that some people have said, "Oh, your eyesight, you lost it because of the vaccine." No, I think it was a consequence, like not a consequence, but what's the right word? It was oh my God, I can't think of the word. You know, when something happens and it's like, oh, you stand by. It's like a anyway. It was not the cause, I don't think.
Oh, okay.
I think it was a something that just was it was like my gut had the issue with the vaccine, and there was like a wave of energy that went through my body, and my eyes were the weakest point, and the
Mm,
vessels were the weakest point in my eyes, and fluid was basically leaking from my
mm,
vessels in my eyes. I I didn't find out. Oh, I had two flare-ups of diverticulitis, which I'd never had before. I also had 3,000 milligrams of steroids to help with the inflammation in my eyes, which it was a huge amount, but
yeah.
I was like, whatever you're going to do to help me, just to help me.
Mhm.
And then by June, I had another 3,000 milligrams of steroids from doctors at Stanford to do the same thing. And I had a third flare up of diverticulitis, and that resulted in a perforated colon.
Really? Oh
So
my gosh.
in 3 months, I had all this stuff happen, and the not only did I have a perforated colon, but I had a vaginal fistula, which is super sexy if anybody's interested. It's sexy and it's pretty scary and not fun. But
Oh God.
I ended up having a drain put into my gut, but I was glad to have that because first it saved my life, and secondly, it was better than a colostomy bag, which would have
True.
been even more devastating. But then
Yeah.
my right eye started to fail. So whereas the left eye was a bucket of dirty water filling, the right eye was like a shade was coming down. It was just a void. So by end of June, I had, been at Stanford. They tried everything, couldn't tell me what had happened, why I had what they ultimately called optic neuropathy, and they did everything they could to help with the inflammation, but they couldn't give me answers as to why it actually happened.
Really?
So I left and went home, and I still had like 40% vision in my right eye. So I came home, studied my children's faces
Oh
as
yeah.
much as I could. I have the three
Mm.
kids, and of course, all three were there. I have two kids that were in college, but because of COVID and the protocols,
Oh
they were there during that time, which is crazy.
yeah.
And so I just memorized their faces, and then 3 days later, my my vision had this like metamorphosis in a sense where it was like a veil covered my visual field. And
Okay.
so within that, it's almost like it morphed a bunch of times, right? But what's ultimately come to be is, if you can imagine a blank Etch-a-Sketch kind of adhered to your eyeballs, and
Mm-hmm.
then pipe in liquid glitter and some little black fibers, and those are what I see all the time. So it's like a screen kind of over my visual field, and those fibers are constantly moving. They're in motion. Like right
Oh,
now, they're in motion, like
really?
floating.
Hmm.
And I do have peripheral vision in my right eye. I have peripheral vision in my left eye because they did a surgery to replace the vitreous jelly in my eye and then put in saline jelly.
Okay.
So that allowed me to see light, which is amazing. And
Okay.
I have central vision obscurity, which is pretty typical.
Mm-hmm.
But the veil is what really obscures my vision. So I did all the things at Stanford and all the doctors said to do, and I was very grateful for them saving my life. And then um, I was at the point where I was like, well, fuck this. No, I'm not blind. We don't say
Yeah.
the B word.
Yeah.
I'm visually impaired. So I didn't get a cane until 2 years after this happened, because that would mean I had to admit or accept or
Yeah.
surrender to being blind. And
You're
it's not
stubborn. You're
happening.
like, nope, that's not what this
Totally.
is.
Totally.
Oh,
Yep.
I would do that
I'm
as well.
like, I can see. It's fine. I can see. I can see. So, I then went in search of help from Eastern medicine and energy healers, light workers, body workers, psychics, mediums, anyone that could tell me how this happened,
Yeah.
what the fibers were, because those were then creating images that I did not call forward. Our brains are amazing and they can do really cool things. They can also mess with you.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the little fibers at one point were like, it was like a sketch, right? So it was like someone was taking these fibers and like putting them together and sketching women's boobs. So,
Weird. You were seeing images of the
dude,
fibers? What?
yes.
That's
And it
so
was like
crazy.
and it sounds so crazy to say out loud, and I swear to my God, it was real. They were, and
Oh,
it
I
wasn't
believe
like a
you. Totally.
hologram or a thank you, a hologram or a like a hallucination. It
Yeah.
was literally someone like was sketching boobs, like a little teenage
And
boy
you're
was
like,
sketching
boobs of
boobs.
all things, like
Yes.
boobs.
And they were all shapes and sizes, Chelsea. Like some I wanted to motorboat, some I was like, I think she needs a little bit of a lift. I don't know.
Those are down by
Yeah.
past her knees.
Yeah, they
Oh my
were pretty, some
God.
were saggy, some were really small. Like I'm like, oh, baby boobs, like little preteen boobs, like
Yeah.
that kind of stuff. And I was
So
beside
weird.
myself, like trying to explain it to people. And I realized after a while, I'm like, just don't say anything
Yeah. You're
because
like,
they
people are
don't
gonna be like, this
understand.
lady's crazy. You're like,
Yes.
yeah.
So then I get invited to this gathering of women from my girlfriend, and it was this like, I think there were like 12 women. And she was like, "Do you want to come to this rose ceremony?" I'm like, "Yes. Yes,
Yeah.
please." Whatever. Like I was going to anyone and anything.
Yeah.
And I even went to a shaman in Big Sur who
I
was
love that.
amazing, by the
I love
way. It was very cool.
calling all badass moms and entrepreneurs ready to stop surviving and start thriving. Y'all, I am officially opening spots for one-on-one mentorship. This is designed exclusively for the women who know they're meant for more, but feel stuck in the chaos of balancing business, motherhood, and everything in between. I'm not just another coach. I'm a proven business owner who's built an award-winning company, written a best-selling book, launched a podcast, and built a platform, all while raising a family. If you're ready to get unstuck and take bold action, master time management and boundaries, build an unshakable CEO mindset, and prioritize your energy without guilt, then let's make your next level happen. Faster, smarter, and with zero apologies. This is not for the excuse makers. It's only for women ready to go all in on themselves. Remember, spots are limited, so if you are interested, head on over now to Instagram and send me a DM with the word mentorship. I cannot wait to talk to you, girl.
So these women were sitting around and listening to an author talk about her book. That's kind of what it was for. But then at
Okay.
the end, well, in the beginning, they said, introduce yourself if you feel like it, and then tell us why you're here. And I was like, I see boobs. I see boobs. And I'm also seeing eyes. So what else was happening at the time was it was like, and I say now, like spirit or whoever it was taking a soft pencil and they were sketching eyes of animals. And it was mainly lions, tigers, owls, and eagles.
Okay.
They were so distinct. I knew exactly what they were. They would look at me with a look like, you good? Okay, we're just checking
Wow,
on you.
that's so powerful. Oh my gosh.
Right? And they would come in and then they would float out and they would come all day, every day, whether my eyes were opened or closed.
Wow.
So I share this with these women and the boobs, and they're like, "Oh my God, it's Isis. It's the divine feminine. It's blah blah blah." And I was like, "Wait, fuck, who? Who? I don't understand. Who's that? Who's ISIS? Isn't that a terrorist organization? Like, I don't
Yeah.
understand." I found out later it's more
God.
than that. It's, a pretty amazing goddess. But
Yes.
so all this stuff was going down, right? And then I was always in search of someone to heal me the whole time. I'm like, somebody just heal me because
Mhm.
I don't have it in me to do it myself. I didn't even know that I could do it myself until it came to the point where I was like, um, I kept getting messages, whether it was through music or things people would say, or I would leave a modality or a session or a treatment or I did some psychedelics, I did Cambo, all of it, right?
Okay.
As much as I
Yeah, you're
could.
like, "I'll try whatever."
100%. Yep. And every time I left, I was disappointed. And finally, I did listen to this book called How to Heal Yourself When No One Else Can, by
Mm,
Amy Scher.
okay.
And amazing book, really, really good read. And she basically was saying, like, hey, bitch, you're the only one that can heal yourself.
You're looking
Like, you
all external, but it's actually just you.
It's
Yeah.
right here. It's right
Wow.
here. So I had a lot of things I had to work through, and that's what I've been doing for the last, 4.5 years. And within that healing and really looking within and doing the work on the inside is where the book came from. Oh,
Wow.
which is
What
kind of
a
cool.
journey. And I totally believe you. Like, I'm woo-woo out there, and I'm like, "Oh,
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's a sign. That's something coming through you, truly."
Yeah. 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 And it's
Yeah, go ahead, sorry.
oh no, I was just gonna say it's gotten even more like I'm listening more intently or with more intention than I
Yeah.
ever have. And within the last like probably 3 months, I've really kind of um been able to sit in the beauty of what this gift of losing my eyesight has become.
Mm,
I wouldn't be this person having this conversation with you. I wouldn't be able to really take a deep breath and be calm with you right now. I would have been breathing from here because I was trying so hard to not be my true self. Like wearing the mask of who I thought everybody needed me to be and who I was when I was in survival mode as a young girl, an adult woman, and, you know, now at this age.
Wow,
So,
that's really powerful of you're like, I didn't ask for this, but look at who you became through
mhm.
this. That is really beautiful. I love
Yeah,
that. And
yeah.
I have to say, I love your book title, Should Have Seen That Coming. It's like
Thank
witty.
you.
It's kind of like, oh shit, she said it. Like it's just, it's
Mhm.
powerful, but it's like actually, it's like real too. It's just, I love that. So
Right on.
tell us about your book and where can people find it?
Oh, okay, so the book, like I mentioned, the first part of it is the chronological breakdown of what happened. The middle part of the book is really the how the hell did I get here? So there's some
Mm,
deep dives into my childhood, my kind of inability to address the elephant in the room with my eyesight. And there's even a chapter called Who's Your Daddy? Because I will share with you for probably, I don't know, my whole entire life, 50 years. My dad, who I've known my whole life, is Mexican. So I thought I was Mexican, half Mexican. Looking at me, you're like, what? I don't think so. I'm blonde hair, blue eyed. Like, I don't look Mexican. But I was thought, oh, I have the Spanish side. And then I took a DNA test. And I'm not Mexican, unfortunately. And so there's that epiphany in the story. And I know I'm not alone. I know there are many other people out there that are finding out their true, like,
yeah, for sure.
biological history.
Yeah.
And then the last part of the book is really the spiritual component, kind of how I've come to this realization with, my identity as a not a spiritual guide, but someone who has intuition and knowing. And I feel like everybody has a light within them. And if you allow it to shine, then you will attract those that need to be near your light,
Yeah.
in a good way, right? And
Mhm.
learning how to protect yourself from those that are, just want to kind of gobble up your light with their
Yeah.
darkness.
Yep.
So I'm learning a lot of that too. So that's kind of part of the book as well. And it's kind of an ode to how we can all find beauty in surrender
Mhm.
and acceptance of where we're at. And yeah, so that's kind of it.
Well, I love that you're not like, "Oh, you're not, doing the whole victim mentality like, poor me." You're literally using this and you're growing and you're more you than you've ever been, it sounds like. And I was just going to say it's like it took losing your sight to teach you to see life more clearly,
Yeah, it
right?
really sucks. I'm gonna be real about it. Like, I don't want to be blind. I'm just
Yeah.
gonna tell you, I'm accepting it.
Mhm.
But if I had a choice, I would like to see everybody, see my children, be able to drive myself. There's a little bit of, there's kind of always a under, almost like, in a volcano, there's that flowing lava. I feel like that's always going to be there for me. And it's rage and sadness and fear and anger is always flowing. And then every once in a while, the bubble pops up from the lava and it bursts. And that's like a moment where I'm like, fuck this shit.
And
This
you just lose it.
sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I get mad that I can't see my daughter's, you know, things that she's showing me on her phone, pictures or
Yeah.
videos, or even see my son get his award today. Right. But then that's calmed down. In the very beginning, it was like my volcano was erupting and I was just so mad all the time. So yeah, I've gotten to this point now where I'm a little bit more accepting, well, a lot more accepting of where I'm at, and I'm embracing it because this is just how it is. This is my path. This is what I chose before I even came down here. And it has allowed me to actually see way more clearly than I ever did before. I don't know if you notice this with when you're with people and or any of your listeners, but we constantly are looking. You're looking for something better. You're looking for the
Yeah.
new job. You're looking for the house. You're looking for the car. You're looking at what your kids are doing. You're
Mm,
looking at your phone. But what we're not doing is seeing what's right in front of us. We're not
yes.
seeing the beauty of your the color of your children's eyes. You're not seeing inside of them more so than what they should be doing or whatever. We don't see each other. So, I do feel like those eyes that were showing up and continue to still show up. It's not just animals, it's actually human eyes and some interstellar and all that stuff. But I've finally come to the realization that it's because they're showing me that I am being seen and I am able to see them and anyone else way more clearly than I ever could with my vision. So,
Interesting. Well, and it is we miss those little things, like you said, the color of your kid's eyes or the things that people take for granted every single day. And
yeah.
also, yeah, I'm sure you felt like everything's just a little more difficult. It takes away your independence. I can't, like you said, I can't drive. I can't do this. I need a little help
Mhm.
for those
Mhm.
things I just used to do. And maybe stuff takes
Yeah.
longer too, but you're
Mhm.
seeing now it's with all that maybe like stripped away, you're seeing what's important in life. It's not always that the big next promotion and car and house and all that crap that doesn't really matter,
Right.
you know? Yeah.
Right. Well, and it's also really fascinating, not just, yeah, all of my stuff that I've gone through has been, what it is. And having to ask people for help has made this experience, you really check yourself with your vulnerability, right? And your
Yeah.
humility.
Yeah.
But what I've noticed is, and what I've had to really see when I'm with others and not feel bad about asking, is that those that want to help you and that feel called to help will do it. Those that don't and won't, you know?
Exactly.
So it's been fascinating watching others who jump right in or who even don't even realize it, like an Uber driver who takes me to an appointment and I tell them my story, right? Because I'm like, hey, I can't see if you look at me, whatever. And then they have a story to share. Or, my kids have stepped in, friends have stepped in, strangers have stepped in to help me in the bathroom at the airport, right? I think people need that connection to show themselves that they are still human and that they do have light within them to help others.
Yes.
And we forget about that when we're constantly in motion and not really seeing each other.
Mm, very
So I
true.
hope that makes sense.
No, it totally does. It totally does.
Okay. Awesome.
So when let's see, I have so many questions. I'm like, which one? Okay, so you obviously had a life before this awakening, but how has your
I did.
definition of success changed from previous
Mm.
to now?
Oh my God. Um, Success to me before was purely monetary.
Mm,
It was all about, I was in real estate. So it was how many homes can I sell in a year? How much money can I make? And, that was pretty much it.
mhm.
Um, Now it's so much deeper because that was so surface, right?
Yeah. You could be taken away tomorrow. Like,
Uh,
yeah.
it was. It
Mhm.
literally
Yeah.
was.
Yeah.
And I now my success is how I don't want to say present myself, but how I am with others. How I hold space for you or anyone else, how I allow others to hold space for me. How I embrace this day. Every day is a new day and they're not the same. And so if I'm able to help someone see the beauty in themselves or their situation, that is success for me.
Oh, that's beautiful. I
Yeah.
love that. I
Yeah.
love that. Okay, so tell us we're gonna wrap up here in just a little bit, but tell us about your podcast as well and your speaking career. You're like all over like you need to teach me your ways, teach me your
Oh,
everything you
I will
know.
be your Obi-Wan. Um, yeah, no, I'm still a little baby speaker, baby podcaster.
Okay, me too. Me too.
Yes, it's super fun. You do a great job, by the way. I'm super stoked about your podcast. Um, I had a podcast I started with my girlfriend Tara Ryan in like 2024, early 2024, and it's called Minor Mystics. And she was one of the gals at that rose ceremony, and we connected. And then 2 years later, she was like, "Let's do a podcast." And I was like, "What the hell's a podcast?" Like, I don't even listen to them. So anyway, we started this podcast, Minor Mystics. It's on Spotify and Apple, I think. And it's essentially just us having a conversation. It started with her kind of she wanted to kind of help me with the book stuff and promote it. And so we would talk about that. And then we got more into like spirituality and women and love and life and families. And it's kind of grief and anything that kind of was there for the day, we
Okay.
would just kind of riff
Just,
on.
yeah, whatever's like fresh and bubbling at the top, you're like, let's go there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And
I
we
get
had
that.
a couple of people, yeah, right? We had a couple of people that we interviewed, but it just never kind of it wasn't really part of our formula.
Yeah.
And so, with life, we're all busy. And so we still have that podcast, but we don't air it as much, or record as much. So I was like, I need to start my own. And so, because I'm sure, like with you, I have a lot of questions
Yeah.
about a lot of things.
And we have a
And
lot of things to
so,
say that we're like, we want to ramble
yes.
on and on.
Yes, yes. So, but I was like, oh my God, my higher self has so many questions.
Yeah.
And my girlfriend said, yeah, but your higher self has all the answers. I'm like, she does, but I still think she has maybe some questions, or someone else's higher self might have questions.
Yeah.
So that is the name of my podcast. My higher self has questions,
Love
and
that.
it's set to the first episode will be out next month. So,
Oh,
and it
okay.
will be a mixture of, I think it'll be more of the interview kind of, like how you do. I'll be interviewing people that I've worked with in the energy, Eastern medicine world, to, those that I haven't worked with, and I'm just curious about what they do.
For sure.
So there's I'm hoping to get, my friend Rob, the shaman, in Big Sur, to come on. He has a fascinating story. um, I met with a gal yesterday who does tarot readings and is a medium.
Oh, that's cool.
So there's like all these things, right? And yeah, so we'll see. It should be fun.
That's
Should be
exciting.
fun. And then the
Congrats.
speaking stuff, thank you. And then the speaking stuff is just, I've spoken at a few things, and I just want to share my story and hear other people's stories, because we all have them. Everybody has a
Absolutely.
story,
I do
right?
love that. I mean, every single person has been through intense adversity at one point in their life, probably many, right? But and it's all so different, but there is something so beautiful about hearing other people's stories and how they worked through it and got better and got stronger and what they learned from it versus just like, well, I gave up and that was it. You know what I mean? It's so
Hmm.
inspiring to hear all these things people have gone through. And you're like, wow, that's perspective for sure.
Right? And no one's trauma is better or worse than the other person's.
Yes, that's
I
so
think
true.
it's,
Yeah,
yeah, it's just this is what happened to me. And there might be others that have similar stories, and then some that have completely different stories that are, I don't want to say like fascinating, because they could be really tragic,
yeah,
but they're beautiful
yeah,
to some degree, because you're really hearing their soul speak to you through the story.
for sure. And it's not
So,
like we're all like, we're having a trauma competition and I'm gonna win. Like, if you're that way, then you're a psycho. Like, let's just not be
right?
friends with you. But yeah,
Yeah,
what can we
yeah.
learn and how can we move forward? Because that's I always say that's the one constant in life is it's gonna have shit show, and then
Ugh,
you're in it, and then you get out, and then maybe next month or next year or maybe 10 years till the next one. But it's coming. It's gonna come.
right?
What are
Oh
you gonna do
yeah.
with it?
Oh yeah. Prepare, 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 prepare. But you also, you can't live in the future, right? It's like living in the past, you can't change it. To go try to figure out the future, it's just fear, right?
Exactly.
And then to be present, I think that's the magic word, is presence. And once you're present in your life, which I'm really very close to that being my everyday status. with some blips here and there, it's it's life changing
It is.
if you can just fucking be present for a
Yes.
minute even.
And
It's pretty
enjoy
rad.
and be grateful and be like, look how many blessings I have. No matter what I've been through,
Mhm,
look.
mhm.
Oh, I love that. Okay.
Yeah,
Well, that was
yeah.
amazing. Boom, mic drop. Okay. So how can our listeners or where can they find out more about you? And then how can we support you?
Thank you. So I have a website. It's jamieestelleroth.com. That's a good place to find me. I'm also on Instagram at Jamie Estelle Roth. And I have a TikTok. I'm not sure what it is. They're all linked on my Instagram.
I still don't know how to
I
use
do
TikTok.
I know, I know. I do have help. I have a great team that helps me because there's no way I can do all this
Yeah.
technology. I've had to learn a whole new language. That's a whole different podcast.
Yeah.
But yeah, so those are the best ways to reach me. And then my email is just Jamie at jamieestelleroth.com.
Perfect. Well, I will put all
Yeah.
that in the show notes, everyone. So please
Thank
connect.
you.
Yes. And thank you so much for coming on. It's so good to connect with you.
Thanks.
And thanks for being so vulnerable and just sharing your message and all the light that you're like your vibe. I just love it. Keep it up.
Yay. Right on. Well, same for you, my friend. I really appreciate it. And it takes one light to know one light.
Oh,
So thank
thank
you
you.
for letting me have this conversation with you and just the time. And I really,
Yes.
really appreciate you. Thank
I
you.
appreciate you too. Thank you, Jamie. Thank
Right
you,
on.
everyone, for listening. Connect with Jamie. Get her book. Listen to her brand new podcast coming out. That's amazing.
Oh, yeah.
And
Oh,
always,
wait.
sorry, yeah,
Sorry.
go on.
I'm so sorry. I totally
No, you're good.
forgot. My book is on Audible.
Oh,
So it
perfect.
just went live last week and
Nice.
I narrated it. So there's that too. Sorry about that. I totally
Perfect.
forgot. Duh.
I have a lot of friends that love the audiobooks, so that's amazing.
Yes.
Perfect.
Awesome.
Go
Thank
check
you.
that out as well on Audible, everybody. And always remember, no BS, just real vibes. We'll see you next time on Lip Service and Lashes. If you loved the episode, share it on Instagram and tag me so I can say thank you and meet you. Or share it with a girlfriend who you know would love this too. Always remember, no BS, just real vibes. See you next time on Lip Service and Lashes.